Right, Sunil Gavaskar is with us. Thank you so much for your time as always. I want to begin by asking you, India were cruising comfortably at one stage and then Yashasvi Jaiswal's run out happened. Do you think that wicket has now changed the course really of this match, sir?
Definitely, because India was going really well till then, and that run out gave Australia just the breakthrough that they needed. Often there's a saying in cricket that one gets you two, and that's exactly what happened. One got them three. And so yes, that run out turned the game in Australia's favor for sure. Because till then, India were cruising along quite nicely.
Well, let's talk a little about fixing responsibility. You know, fans are divided really on that run out. Something it was Virat's fault, for others it was Jaiswal's. If I were to put you in the spot, what would you say? Whose fault was it according to you?
Well, I mean, it was a tight run, no question about it. But normally, it's the striker who's the caller if it's in front of the stumps. And Jaiswal called, and you will see that at that particular point of time, Kohli, because he's such a quick runner, if he had just gone, it would have been a tight run. It wouldn't have been a easy run. But it was a tight run only because Kohli is such a good runner. But Kohli turned to look at the fielder, and when that happens, the other man is going to be in trouble, because then at that particular point of time, that person who's at the non-striker's end, he is not going to be in a position to complete the run. His first reaction is going to be no. That's exactly what happened.
You know, talking about Virat Kohli today, he was looking comfortable. He was even leaving balls outside off stump, but after that run out, he edged one of the outside off, resulting in this wicket. In his wicket, in fact. Do you think that Yashasvi's run out had something to do with it? Was Virat in some way affected by his involvement in the dismissal?
I think it is just a question of feeling a little secure at that stage. At the earlier stages, what happens is you may be very conscious of the fact that this is what they're looking to trap me with. So you let the ball go. Once you get in, once you feel secure, then you look to play at as many deliveries, because leaving the deliveries is not going to add any runs. And in that aspect, I think the ball moved just a little bit, and that's how we got out. Yeah.
Well, even though Yashasvi was denied his century, he managed to get to what looked like a well-made 82. And how do you really look at his knock, especially, in fact, after the low scores in Brisbane and Adelaide?
Very good, very good. He started off a little aggressively, pushing hard at the ball, but he very quickly realized that there was movement there. There was swing on offer for both the bowlers, and so he curbed that push and played a lot closer to the pads. And that made him look very, very secure. He also managed to get quite a few boundaries. He was getting the ball in the V, as they say. So, yes, I think it was a very, very good innings.
Talking about the man in form for India, Sani Paji, just tell us a little about KL Rahul, who's looked the most assured batter for the visitors in the series so far. He was dismissed just at the stroke of tea. If I have to ask you to describe that, Pat Cummins' delivery in one word, what would it be?
Yes, because look at the angle with which it was delivered. Look at how it pitched and look at how it cut away from the bat. It was an unplayable delivery. You ask me for one word, I'll say unplayable.
Be with us. We'll just come back to you in a moment from now. But that undoubtedly is very, very high praise coming from you, Saniji. I just want to ask you, Rohit has returned as an opener in this test, but that didn't really work for him. And the team, as he was once again dismissed cheaply. Your thoughts on this particular dismissal?
No, it hasn't worked for the India team because, I think the decision firstly to drop Shubman Gill when your batting has let you down and you go into a test match with just 5 regular batters, with due respect to Ravindra Jadeja and Washington Sundar and Nitish Reddy, they are all-rounders. But when your batting is, is not reducing the runs, then you go in with 6 batters and then you include the all-rounders. That didn't happen. So already you were handicapped. And if you were to include an extra bowler in place of a batter, that bowler, we didn't see the bowler. So I think that whole selection was not correct from the beginning. And now you're seeing the result of that. So basically trying to accommodate one person, what has happened is, the whole balance of the team has got upset.
Staying with Rohit, I want to ask you, series of low scores and no beginnings in Test cricket to show for in this whole season. What do you think the future holds for the Indian captain as far as red ball cricket is concerned?
Uncertain, and the next 3 innings will probably decide what the future is. So clearly, I think the next three innings, he's got to get big scores, big hundreds, if he wants to stay around in the Indian team.
Talking about Indian bowling, not too many wickets in the first session. Talking specifically about Mohammad Siraj, he's been that support bowler for Bumrah that you expect him to be?
No, he hasn't. And neither has Akashdeep been the support bowler. Nitish Rana bowled well at Perth. Then he just went off the boil at Adelaide. And then he was left out of the team. Akashdeep came in, rescued you at the Gabba with his batting, but it's his bowling for which he's been picked in the team. His figures look good because he gets the ball to be a little bit outside the off stump and the batters leave it. So the figures look good. But in Test cricket, you're not looking at economy rate. In Test cricket, you're looking at strike rate. And the strike rate is not good. And that's why Jasprit Bumrah is ploughing a lone furrow.
Half the Indian side is already back in the pavilion and the visitors are still trailing by 310 runs. What do you think is the best case scenario for Team India in the Test then?
The best case scenario is for India to draw the game. And for that to happen, the pair that is there and the remaining batters need to take the game deep on into the third day. If they can bat beyond lunch, then that will mean that Australia will then have to bat a lot quicker to look at a declaration and try and bowl India out in the fourth innings. So the longer the India team puts Australia on the field, the better it will be for them.
Mr. Gavaskar, finally, Steve Smith has also joined your club of 34 Test hundreds. A word on the Australian batter.
Not for long. Not for long. I had a word with Steve at the end of the day's play after he had done an interview. And so I said to him, welcome to the 34 Centuries Club. And I know that you're not going to stay in the club long because you might be, forsaking the club and joining the 35 Centuries Club either in the next innings or in Sydney. So he laughed.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Gavaskar, for joining in with your views and your perspective on that.